Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Kimberly Cloud Show. I'm your host, Kimberly Cloud. Wow, we got a lot of work to do today. We got a lot of work to do today. And we got to finish strong. Strong, strong, strong. I say stronger and party like it's 1999 on Instagram and you now. So pretty much I wanted to talk about I wanted to show y'all something actually. Hi, good evening. I don't even know what the numbers. Lots of numbers. Okay, this is super funny, y'all. Follow me at the Kimberly Cloud Show 39 on Facebook. The Kimberly Cloud Show 39. You must see this. Hold on. Oh, we got.
She has nice hair.
I think she's cute.
You sure about that? You sure about that?
Can you say one nice thing about Kamala Harris?
3 days later.
My mom always said, if you have nothing nice to say, don't say it at all.
Okay. Can you say one nice thing about Kamala Harris?
My mother raised me not to say, if you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all.
I'm
Can
tired.
you say one nice thing about Kamala Harris?
Yes, God loves her.
God bless your heart. I don't know. I don't know. There's not too many nice things I can say. I mean,
she's all right, I guess. I'll just say that she's okay. That's the nice thing I can say.
she's failed epically. And as a Black woman, I can tell you when you get opportunities, you're supposed to max them out, not fail. And she's had one of the highest order and has failed. And it's very disappointing. I know you said something nice, but I couldn't do it. So.
She is the most unpopular vice president in American history. That means you suck. You suck. Nobody's wearing a Kamala t-shirt. Nobody's wearing a Harris t-shirt. Little girls are not running around saying they want to be like Kamala. No, because she's cringy.
Run while you can.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. We're coming for you to take you out.
That's it. Trump 2024.
That's right.
That's the only way, brother.
That's right.
I really hope she enjoys her vacation when she is no longer the vice president of this country.
You have to watch it.
Who is
over.
Kamala? She is the most unpopular vice president in American history. That means you suck. You suck.
Do not come. Do not come.
I'm gonna come.
Nobody's wearing a Kamala t-shirt. Nobody's wearing a Harris t-shirt. Little girls are not running around saying they want to be like Kamala.
Would you go into space, and what is the maximum amount of time you'd be willing to stay out there for?
Is that a request?
No, because she's cringy.
Remember how Barack Obama was president for 8 years? That's pretty impressive. You know what's not impressive? Being vice president. And you know who's really not impressive? Is Kamala Harris. But for some reason, Kamala Harris, our first Black female vice president, is supposed to be an iconic historical civil rights leader. But the only thing iconic is this creepy ass laugh. So apparently people are supposed to praise Kamala Harris as some type of historic figure. We decided to go to a Black conservative conference in South Carolina and ask the question, what's your favorite accomplishment of Kamala Harris?
Can you say one nice thing about Kamala Harris?
I don't know. I got nothing. She's such a disappointment to get to that level and do such a terrible job.
Why'd you put so many Black people in jail?
One nice thing.
Oh, my bad.
She is masterful at rhetoric. You know what rhetoric is. You kind of talk in circles, and that's what she does. I mean, that's all she does.
And talking about the significance of the passage of time, right? The significance of the passage of time. So when you think about it, there is great significance to the passage of time in terms of what we need to do.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
She is the abortion czar, she's the border czar, and has not been able to do either very well. She hired children to talk about the space program, hired actors to do that.
I just love the idea of exploring the unknown.
She's been ineffective, she's been impotent, and she's not been the vice president that she was hailed to be. And I won't celebrate her blackness because she's black. I want competency. And so competency is what you celebrate with black people.
Who is Kamala?
Can you?
Are y'all watching this?
Okay. The only people that should be mad at her are hyenas. Because she's been impersonating one for the longest. She's been impersonating hyenas for the longest.
Stop laughing like a hyena.
Yeah. Trying to answer you now.
American people deserve a straight.
No.
I'm proud of how far she's gotten on what she has.
That sounds like something Kamala would say.
Yeah, I'm just digging in my word salad as much as I can.
And we should always find times to express how we feel about the moment that is a reflection of joy, because it comes in the morning.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
Kamala makes me laugh. That's the nicest thing that I can say.
She's healthy, a young lady, and she's very attractive young lady.
I like her hair. She has nice hair.
I think she's cute.
You sure about that? You sure about that?
Can you say one nice thing about Kamala Harris?
3 days later.
My mom always said, if you have nothing nice to say, don't say it at all.
Can you say one nice thing about Kamala Harris?
My mother raised me not to say, if you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all.
I'm tired.
Can you say one nice thing about Kamala Harris?
Yes, God loves her.
God bless your heart. I don't know. I don't know. There's not too many nice things I can say. I mean,
She's all right, I guess. I'll just say that she's okay. That's the nice thing I can say.
she's failed epically. And as a black woman, I can tell you when you get opportunities, you're supposed to max them out, not fail. And she's had one of the highest order and has failed. And it's very disappointing. I know you said something nice, but I couldn't do it.
She is the most unpopular.
That's enough. That's a long one.
Starting today, I called all the big
Oh, no, wait. Cool. Okay, that's enough. Hi, Leslie. Hi, everyone that's giving me shout outs and stuff. Thank you all. So this I want to watch, but I'm afraid to. So let's get to my work. While I'm getting ready to get to my work, we'll play some of it.
Asking me to serve with him on this ticket was probably one of the most.
To be quite honest, I think that I believe that this was weird. Somebody who's connected to, I'm not even going to go there. I'm just going to close this out and watch it on my own quarters. I promise you. I don't want to even get into it. I done said enough. So we're closing that out. We're closing that out. We're going to open up what? We got one more. I probably won't have time to do the, we'll see if I have time to do the Apple podcast. The Apple podcast. So one more bid. Let's get to it. Yummy, yummy. Do the shrimp want to go to the party in my tummy? You sure? No. Okay, shrimp. Yeah. In my tummy, party, party. Yeah. In my tummy, green beans. Yeah. In my tummy, party, party. Yeah. In my tummy, there's a party in my tummy. So yummy, yummy, yummy. Ooh, ooh. What's wrong? We want to go to the party. The party in your tummy. I'm going to download this one. I think she's a Canadian retired police officer. And this one. Maybe someday. I like that. There's a party in my tummy. So yummy, I like to dance. Hold still. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle. Let me get these names. Hold still. It's time to go now. We're going to get them. I can play the song, but I can't show y'all the song. So I'm going to play it. I love that song. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Ah, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Ah, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Ah. Hold still. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Did I play hers? Wait. Let's go. Let's see. Fiddlesticks. Okay, that's what we're gonna do. We got a lot of stuff to delete now. Okay, right here. We're gonna put you right there, right about here. We're gonna put you right there and push you down. Come on, slowly, slowly. Good. It's hard to do. At the time of my life. I couldn't say it just like him because he goes deep. And I owe it all to you. Let me turn this down. No music but this music. Scam Mike. Okay. Okay. Whoa. How did that? It's okay. It's okay, Cam. How did that happen? Oh, that's why. I was about to say, go back. Abort. Good. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Kimberly Cloud Show. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Kimberly Cloud Show. I'm your host, Kimberly Cloud. I have a very special guest here today. Can you go ahead and announce to the world who you are and where you're from?
I'm Karen Vale. I'm of Karen's Coaching Corner.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Kimberly Cloud Show. I'm your host, Kimberly Cloud. Oh, I did it. Yeah, I'm learning every day. Okay, so we start with Karen and Melvin with Brittany. Okay, let's do it. I'm tired, boss. I like to I have a very special guest here today. Can you go ahead and announce to the world who you are and where you're from?
I'm Karen Vale. I'm of Karen's Coaching Corner, and I'm up in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me on today, Kimberly.
You're welcome. And can you tell me a little bit about your past? Because we just recently spoke. So tell me a little bit, whatever you want to talk about, your past leading up into your present, what you do now.
Okay. So I had, when I was very young, I got into the post office and I found it was very disheartening. I wasn't doing anything with my life. It just felt like a dead end. And I resonated with a lot of teenage girls. A friend of mine was working in a group home, and I thought, you know, if somebody had been there when I was 16 and 17 years old, maybe I'd have turned out different. So I ended up going into it as a full-time career as a youth counselor, working in a treatment home with their families. It was residential as well as day treatment and then co-op, and eventually I managed them all. So I did that for about 20 years, doing treatment, a lot of issues. You know, these were young women that were there because of difficulties in the home, eating disorders, self-injurious behavior, alcoholism, sexual abuse, promiscuity, all sorts of stuff. So borderline personality disorder, autism for some of them, so mental health as well as acting out, shall we say, kind of behaviors. But it gave me a real life lesson, but more importantly, I think it healed a big part of myself. You know, I was able to be there for somebody else and touch a lot of lives. And, you know, it's interesting, I've met some of them, you know, I felt like I grew them up. They were, you know, with us 3 to 5 years, and you meet them in their 30s and 40s, and you know, they'll talk about how much I had impacted their lives and, you know, that the experience did. But that will lead me to another story. After that, I kind of had to start looking at reach the top where I was, and it was either go back to school and do a lot of work or do something that paid me to go to school. So that's when I became an emergency first responder. And I've been doing that for about 15 years. And some of the young women I've met in some not so great situations as I've pulled them over or they've been released from jail and things like that. So not all of them had a good outcome, but they were always happy to see me, which was nice. So that's been kind of my journey in how I've gone from, you know, basically serving. I feel like I'm a server of the community. I feel very drawn to be part of the community, giving back into it, of doing my part and things like that. So yeah, it's been a nice journey.
Can you tell me the differences? I don't know if you've been, looking at the United States healthcare system versus Canada's healthcare system. Can you tell me a little bit about what services they give to young women, adults there, that versus the healthcare system that is in the United States, so I can get a clear picture?
Well, I don't know enough about your system, but I do know that there's what you have is called, you have some people that are insured and some aren't. So for example, in the agency that I was, it was a treatment home, which is a very intensive costly endeavor, because you have, almost 2-to-1 staffing for 24 hours, 7 days a week. That's all paid by our government. Like, we try to fundraise as well, but it is paid by our government. The same as, treatment centers, for example, for addictions, they're paid by our government. Now, the wait list can be extensively long because of that. So we do have some private ones, but I think that that's the difference is that if you don't have insurance where you are, I'm not sure whether you have the options that we have. All therapy is covered. Again, long wait lists if you can't pay for it, you don't have insurance. And most Canadians, I'm talking out of the side of my mouth right now. As far as I know, most jobs in Canada do have some type of insurance coverage. So if you're working full time, you will have some benefits to cover these things. And I'm sorry, the one piece that I left out was, after being an officer, I'm still an officer. I got taken off the road about a year ago because of some medical problems. And what I found was I was at a desk answering the phone and doing reports. And I really missed being a part of people's journeys. I mean, I've been doing that for about 35 years. I'm there when you're good. I'm there when you're bad. I'm there throughout your journey. And so I wanted to figure out how to continue to connect and serve and be with people. So I became certified as a life and mindset coach. So I'm now doing that as well. It's a nice segue and keeps me connected to people in the process and journeys, which is, what I feel is my purpose, is to help others and be of service.
Tell me how the women, tell me one circumstance where the adults now that were women came through the system and they sat up there and they graduated and they went through the system, they liked it, they wanted to do more with their lives. They became success stories. Tell me one instance where which you had many, that you had a success story.
One of the girls, an interesting thing is I found that young people that had grown up in a system of what we call child protective services had a very different attitude about work and their aspirations for success afterwards compared to young women that were coming from different countries. Some of them had suffered war, starvation, poverty, things like that. The attitude was very different, and I found that they were more successful in the fact that a lot of them went to school, went through college, put themselves through college. So a recent one that I can think of, she became a personal support worker. She's very happy doing it, working. Now, I haven't had contact with her since COVID, but before COVID, she was working in a hospital as a personal support worker, being hired by a company, and really enjoyed that. So, but there was a bit of a difference regarding the availability of funds and how people ended up in their lives. As I said, I found that those that came from outside countries here worked a little bit harder for what they needed. They appreciated it a little bit more, and they are what I consider more successful in the fact that they are self-supporting in whatever way that is and contributing back into society.
Wow. And can you tell me a little bit about where you see yourself going right now for the future with your coaching and everything else that you have going on?
I've developed one program. What I want to do is basically I do one-on-one coaching. I would like to do group coaching. One of the things that I have is I want to impact thousands of people. I mean, I have literally probably impacted hundreds already in, my years of counseling, my years as a police officer, that type of stuff. But I want to get out there. So I'm planning on writing a book. I've already got the chapters done.
Hold on for a second. Oh, I sat up there. It's so funny and it's so cool that you sat up there. We went through, you said you were a post office worker, a youth counselor, a first responder, which in your terms is a police officer in a Canadian term. Oh my God, I'm talking to an officer. Hi.
Hello.
Go ahead. You can continue. Sorry about that.
No worries, no worries. Yeah, so in any event, so I'm going to be writing a book, and that book is about confidence. I think women, one of the difficulties is that we need to be more confident to practice our skills and that type of stuff. So it's a book about that. I'm going to do a program around it. But one of the biggest things that I saw, and I'm not sure how I'm going to approach this, is during COVID, being a police officer, I was in a lot of people's homes, and what I noticed is a lot of people disconnected in this society. Whether it's mental health, whether it's, just because they work at home all the time and that, but I saw so much loneliness, and, I'm trying to equate how you can teach somebody skills in order to be able to break through loneliness. And what I mean by that is for example, I'm a joiner. If there's a group, I join it, I don't have a problem going in amongst people I don't know and that type of stuff, thanks for my training. But for some people, that's painful. It's so terrifying in that. So I'm trying to figure out how to help people get out of themselves, out of their apartment, and how to have some social interaction so they don't feel quite as disconnected. Again, I haven't formulated that totally, and it's something that I see a real need that could be of help for people. So I will be developing that next year.
Now, what about an app?
Oh, God.
Like an app that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Never thought about that.
You know?
Yeah. I never thought of that.
That can go, because you know so many people and you have been through so much. So I think that, technology, bringing technology into this would be great.
Yes. My mind had thought about, like I say, Evergreen, doing videos or things like that where they can purchase and kind of do it. But what would be a follow-up is some type of community in and of itself, especially if it's localized to, the Torontonians or to, Saskatchewanians. That's not a real word. But anyway, Californians, you know what I mean. So.
So you are so funny. Okay, so you've been doing so much with your life. I just want to know if you had a form of advice, a piece of advice you wanted to give out there to the young entrepreneur who want to be a first responder, which is a police officer. This is something I just learned. And I swear to God.
Run, go the other way. Don't do it.
Oh, I forgot. On your list is comedian.
No, that's not on there. For somebody who wants to be a first responder, you know what? I have yet to meet anybody who said that it was anything like they thought it would be like. It really isn't. It's surprising because when you're in it, after a while, you kind of go, well, what did you expect? And it's not that. You have to have a real perseverance for it. For example, one of the things I did say to you, I've basically gone from PST to happy, joyous, and free. And I say I'm an alcoholic. I sobered up almost 35 years ago, sober and clean, through the help of AA, and I still continue to be part of them. And so that's the joyous, happy, and free. But through my work, I also kind of had mental challenges, shall we say, with post-traumatic stress. And so it's not an easy job. I don't know about down in the States, up here in Canada, one of the things is a lot of people go through police foundations. And I always tell them, don't. If a police service wants you, they're going to train you in that. But if they don't want you, you don't have the mental fortitude. We have lots of psychological assessments you have to go through. If you don't pass them, then you're stuck being a security guard. Sorry, I don't mean to be disrespectful, not stuck, but for a young person, it can be very boring sitting behind a desk doing concierge, at a young age. So you're kind of lumping yourself in there. Instead, if you had a secondary career that you want to do, like to be a orthopedic doctor or, a physiotherapist or massage therapist, do that. Because then you have a skill that you can always fall back on. Because whatever police service takes you, they will teach you what you need to know to be a police officer. So that's what I suggest.
And what do you suggest as far as people who fear? Because some people fear the police, and I just want to know, you got police officers out here like Karen that are trying to help the community one person at a time, and I just, what do you suggest for those who fear police officers?
You know, it's a funny thing. I became a police officer when I was 42 years old. And I have to say that I was very liberal, to the left. They're abusive, they're asses. Sorry, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to use that word, but you know, this type of stuff. And I actually have to, you know, never mind. Some people, I never had to worry about coming out as a lesbian. I had to worry about coming out as a police officer. You know, like I didn't have a lot of respect for them myself. To the left, they're abusive, they're asses. They're abusive, they're abusive. They're abusive of their asses. Sorry, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to use that word, but you know, this type of stuff. And I actually have to, you know, never mind. Some people to the left, they're abusive. I actually have to, you know, never mind. Some people, I never had to worry about coming out as a lesbian. You know, never mind. To the left, they're abusive. Some people, I never had to worry about coming out as a lesbian. I had to worry about coming out as a police officer. People, to the left, they're abusive. I never had to worry about coming out as a lesbian. I had to worry about coming out as a police officer. To the left, they're abusive. People, I never had to worry about coming out as a lesbian. I never had to worry about coming out as a lesbian. They're abusive. People, I never. To the left, they're abusive. I never had to worry about coming out as a lesbian. I had to worry about coming out as a police officer. You know, like I didn't have a lot of respect. They're abusive. Well, I never had to worry about coming out as a lesbian. I had to worry about coming out as a police officer. You know, like I didn't have a lot of respect for them myself. So my journey has always been to try and make somebody's experience different as an officer. That's been what I came into this to be and to do with people. And sometimes I'm successful and sometimes I'm not. I have, being a part of the gay community, I have been arrested myself for what they call indecent act. It was, if you kiss her again, I'm going to arrest you. Well, screw you. So I did. And, you know, I've been arrested. I've been harassed. I've been treated very disrespectfully.
That was harassment.
Yes, it was. So, I mean, during the 80s and 90s, when it was very political, before, you know, we only had 100 people at Gay Pride Day. I think Gay Pride in Toronto started in 82 and I was out in 84 and starting at the parade. So very young. So I understand what it's like to be on that side. The difference is that there's, and I don't know about the States, but up in Canada, there's a lot more education now. And interestingly enough, it's been the most liberating experience for me being a police officer in Canada, in that the support of my teammates and people around me has shocked me. And I mean, it may have been because I also came in with a lot of bias and attitudes about what police constituted as far as I was concerned. It took me a long time to join that club, I tell you, like in my mind. And so what I've actually found is that in a lot of ways, you know, there is a lot more tolerance, because really, I don't know any police officer that really isn't there and didn't come to the job to help somebody, essentially. So when you're a victim and you're hurting, I've never seen a police officer not respond. So when you're afraid, what sometimes people do when they're afraid is they yell, they scream, they act in ways that can be very aggressive. And, you know, when you do that, of course, we're taught everything's a threat. So if you've called us and you're afraid, try not to be aggressive. You know, because we're taught to, and we respond to our own safety with responding in such, you know, it's the way that we keep ourselves safe. It's, you know, the things that they teach you, using a softer voice. Yes, please, that type of stuff. Keeping yourself down. I know you're afraid, but it's kind of like if you need help from somebody, and, you know, like I remember a friend needed help and she fell off the bedpan, for example. And when the person came in to clean up, she was yelling at them. And it's like, I tried to say, you know what, she's there to help you. Like, I know you're upset and frustrated, but kind of don't bite the hand that's feeding you. And so that's why I say when people are fearful, they tend to get aggressive, and that will only escalate the situation. Try and try and instead stay calm and just remember they are essentially there to help you.
Thank you so much. Well said. And one last question. Did you ever write a book about your harassment through the LGBT times of being an officer? That's another thing.
No, I wasn't an officer back then, you know.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry about
yeah.
that.
I was civilian, so most definitely. No, but you know what? Today it's surprising. This story came up just 2 weeks ago because there was a report that came out about from our police chief that came out about Toronto police are being more aggressive with racialized persons. And so that caused a lot of conversation in house. And I told that story to my coworkers and they were outraged. They're like, no. It's like, yes, like it could have been you if you were in the right division at the time. And it's like, no, when was that? Yes. No, yes. And there was this disbelief. And it's like, I'm sitting there as a coworker telling them, no, this happened to me from our police service, our comrades, our coworkers. And they even had a hard time really thinking about it and speculating. It's hard for people today because of course it's 30 years, 20 years later, 30 years later, there are certain rights for gays now that we didn't have back then. So it's hard for them to see that and recognize that. There's a lot more. There's a lot less time, obviously, between it being regarding white and black, you know, and racialized people. So, you know, that's still an ongoing concern.
Understood. And how can the people reach you if they needed to reach you?
I'm at, I have just type in Karen Vaile, Vaile, and you'll come up with either Facebook or my website, which is at Karen's Coaching Corner, and that's corner with a K, KCK.com.
You know, this is about the beautifulest video I've seen so far. You have you right there, but then you have the squirrel in the background. You gotta love it. So yes. Thank you. Stay on the line, Karen. Thank you so much. And,
thank you, Kimberly, for having me today. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
The stars.
Hi everyone, thank you for sorry about that. Hi everyone, welcome to the Kimberly. Sorry about that. Hi everyone, welcome to the Kimberly Cloud Show. I'm your host, Kimberly Cloud. Welcome to the Kimberly Cloud Show. I'm your host, Kimberly Cloud. I have a very special guest here today.
The stars.
Let me turn this down.
The stars.
Kimberly Cloud. I have a very special guest here today. Can you go ahead and tell the world who you are and where you're from?
Okay, so yeah.
Tell the world who you are and where you're from.
Okay, so my name is Brittany.
Tell the world who you are. Very special guest here today. Can you go ahead and tell the world who you are and where you're from?
Okay, so my name is Brittany, and I am the mommy's expert, and I am from North Carolina in the United States of America.
What part of North Carolina, by the way?
Right outside of Wilmington.
How far are you from Charlotte?
3.5 hours.
Cool. So, you know, I feel at home talking to you, and we just talked before the show. So I would like to know a little bit about your past leading up into your present.
Okay. So I went to UNC Pembroke, and I wanted to major in business, but then I changed it to health promotion. And I found while doing that, it's because I love talking about sex. It was a passion, and it was just fun. It's something that's, people are uncomfortable about talking about, but then, it's like you can lighten it up some. So it's natural. So I realized I enjoyed it, and I educated all the college students on safe sex. So we talked about best practices and things like that. So I wanted to be a sex therapist, but at the time, like, you couldn't find anything local. Everything, you had to travel out of the state and everything. So I had just had my daughter my senior year. So I was just like, that's not an option at the moment. And so I kind of put that on the back burner and everything, but I continued to work in the health field where I continued to educate on safe sex practices with young adults and teenagers, teen moms. I really worked heavily in that area, and I still enjoyed it. It was a passion. And so I ended up in another field for a little while, but then I was introduced to bedroom candy. And it was just like an opportunity to talk about sex and with other people that wasn't, embarrassed about talking about it or anything, and educating them. And so behind bedroom candy is all about educating and empowering. So it was just like, I can talk to other people about, sex toys and educate them on vaginal health and all this other stuff. So why not, see if I can get a certification in it instead of trying to find a whole program. And so I ended up doing the sexology training, and it's been awesome and great.
And how long have you been doing it for?
Right at a year.
Cool. And wow. What can you tell us something, us women, about one thing about vagina health that some women may not know? Like I don't know. I'm just gonna say I don't know because you're the teacher. So can you tell us one thing that we do on a regular that usually we like lack help? Us something, us women, about one thing about vagina health that some women may not know, like I don't know. I'm just gonna say I don't know because you're the teacher. So can you tell us one thing that we do about vagina health? So can you tell us one thing that we do on a thing about vagina health? So can you tell us one thing that we do on a regular we do one thing that we do so can you tell us one thing that we do on a regular that usually we like one thing about vagina health so can you tell us one thing that we do on a regular that usually we like that usually we like lack helping and yet hinder ourselves, if that makes any sense. Yeah.
One thing one thing I always like to mention is making sure
we do on a regular that usually we at regular thing about vagina health. So can you tell us one thing that we do on a regular?
One thing I always like to mention is
about one thing about vagina health.
One thing I always like to mention is making sure that you don't douche. Do you know anything about douching? It's not healthy. It washes away all that good bacteria. So we don't want to do that. Another thing I know you only asked for one, but another thing is shaving. You don't necessarily have to shave. I mean, that's more of a preference, but shaving sometimes it hair is normally there to block bad things from getting out of it. So once you remove it all, you have an increased chance of getting bacterial vaginosis and yeast and things like that. So those are two things that I know that's very common that you don't necessarily want to do.
Do you know that they had a tax on tampons?
No.
Yeah, so how is your input on that, the tax on tampons? What is your input?
Wow. you know, nowadays it nothing surprises me. I don't have too much to say about it, but nothing surprises me. I'll say that.
Yes, ma'am.
But I did not know that.
I just wanted you to know that I appreciate you being on my show. So your sexologist practices has led you this far. So what I want to know is how is it that what made you seek the practice? How is it how is it how is it that what made you what I want to know is what made you seek the practice of this? Because I understand you already told me why, because you wanted to talk about sex and everything, and you wanted to educate people about sex. But, what made you, like, what day did you say, you know what, I think that this is something that I want to do? And, like, yeah.
So
right, yeah. And I want to do. And, like, yeah.
So, all right. So the pandemic happened.
Something that I want to do.
So, all right. So the pandemic happened. That changed everything for everybody, right? So what changed for me is that I went from going into an office every day to I'm working from home. And I have a 3-year-old. Okay. Well, she just turned 3, but at the time she was 9 months old when I first started working from home. 9 months old. And trying to do everything, it was a lot. But she's not my only child. I also have, one that is 13 and one that is 8. So like it just changed everything drastically because kids, they need a lot. So recognizing that, I recognized that moms was like the area that I wanted to focus in on, because moms, we forget about ourselves. We are constantly worrying about everybody else. We are constantly looking after everybody, make sure everybody else is taken care of, but we're not taking care of ourselves. So I wanted to let moms know that it's important to take care of themselves. In the midst of taking care of themselves, if you have a partner, like they have needs too, and sometimes partners, especially husbands, they don't necessarily understand everything that, a mom has to go through, all the things that's on her to accomplish and everything else. And so they're not always, I'm not gonna say necessarily supportive, but not necessarily understanding of the role that you play. And so it just makes it so you kind of lose that intimacy there. Everything starts, coming distant. You're not really, feeling your partner. You're not right there with them. Y'all can be in the same room, but it feels like they're a mile away. So I recognized that from working at home. I recognized that I had so much on my plate. I was trying to do so much and everything else, but I still need to take care of my partner. And when discussing this with other moms, I realized that I wasn't the only one having that issue. So then I started focusing in on that. And it was just, recognizing that moms deserve to have pleasure too. You can't just forget about it. So I start with educating on that, because that's important. And so that's what kind of got me into is recognizing my own issues that I needed to deal with. And that turned into the fact that I want to help others, because like I told you, I like to educate. So I want to help others. I want them to overcome those challenges as well, because I know that moms forget about themselves and put everybody else first. So it's time to let moms know it's time to put you first, and then you can experience great pleasures as well.
You have your bachelor's degree, right?
Yes.
And when you got your bachelor's degree, during that time, was it rough for you, or was it easy, or was it, mediocre? How was it for you, going to school before you became got into sexology?
It was fine. It wasn't the thing. I reached my biggest challenges once I had my daughter my senior year, and trying to get used to being a new mom and go to class and get work done and everything. Like having a kid, it changes the dynamics of anything. So just getting used to that and trying to do that, I think that was my biggest challenge. But outside of that, I think I adjusted pretty well to school. I was fine with that. I made sure that I went a nice distance from home, and I really didn't know anybody, so it was fine there. And I participated in the programs and stuff like that. So that's how I was introduced to the whole sex side of things and recognized that I like talking about sex is when I joined a group called Apple Core at the time. And that's what we did. We taught the other students about safe sex, how to properly use a condom and things like that. And so with me enjoying that and meeting people that way and meeting other students on campus and stuff like that, it made it easier. It definitely made it easier. But my biggest challenge was once I moved off campus and had my daughter, the socializing kind of slowed down. And I just, again, had to just adjust to managing a child and schoolwork and class and everything. It was a lot.
A lot of skepticals are going to say, well, somebody in sex shouldn't be. I know this sounds crazy, but you do got people out here that say people that are way too wrapped up in sex, which you got a degree for, but people that are talk about sex should not be around kids. But to be honest, kids are curious. Kids need to know their limits and the laws of the rule of thumb, which is not to do it until you get married. You know, that, or if you're going to do it, you know. Oh, God. Do it. Children, they couldn't stop me as a child as before, but people that are talk about sex should not be around kids. But to be honest, kids are curious. Kids need to know their limits and the laws of the rule of thumb, which is not to do it until you get married. You know, that, or if you're going to do it, you know, do it. Children, they couldn't stop me as a child as couldn't stop me. Do it. Children, they couldn't stop me as a child as the rule of thumb, which is not to stop me as the rule of thumb, which is stop me as a child, the laws of the rule of thumb, stop me as a child as stop me as a of the rule of thumb, stop me as a child as 15 years old. They couldn't stop me, laws of the rule of thumb. They couldn't stop me as a child as 15 years old. You know, I'm just being honest. And they can't stop children from engaging in sexual activities. So what do we do with that situation? We educate them, right?
Yes, yes. Kids are sexual beings. We're all sexual beings. We're born sexual beings. So even at a young age, before they understand what sex is, they're playing with themselves because it feels good. So it's something sexual, but that's what they do. And so the best thing you can do is not make them feel embarrassed about something like that. You educate them. You know, this is something that you're doing, but do that in the privacy, you know, of your own room, or your own space. But you know, you don't have anybody else touching you, things like that. Don't have anybody making you feel uncomfortable. Educate them on this is their private space. This is their area that, you know, this is theirs. Don't have anybody else there. But don't shame them, because when they're shamed, then they become uncomfortable. And then it becomes more curiosity. So once you educate them on those things and then educate them as they get older on different levels, you educate them, you know.
She said it very well. Very well.
Naming the parts exactly what they are, you know, vagina, penis. Don't call them play names, things like that. Continue to educate them, you know, practice and safe sex as they get older, even if you're not, you know, even if before the point that you think that they would actually be doing it, it's time to teach them, because you don't want to wait until it's too late and then they already doing something and they didn't know. So educate them on that, making sure they make those decisions on their own, and not because their friends told them something. So they need that education because curiosity brings on other things. And so they'll just do it because they're curious about it. I want to know. My friend said this, and friends don't always give accurate information. So you do want to be the one that's providing them that information.
Yes, and what is the best age to start talking with children about this based on your expertise?
I feel like the younger the better. I mean, different levels, like I was saying, when they're 2, it's potty training time, things like that. That's their.
I got something to tell you that my son did that was very inappropriate, and I didn't understand why he did it. But yet he went over his grandmother's house every other week, and I don't know where he got it from. One day I was sleeping, and I sleep real heavy, but like I'll give him a hug when we usually sleep, but I don't get up on him very heavily. I just put my arm around his waist or contour. And so I turned around and he kind of like grind on my butt. And I said, no. I turned around immediately and said, no, you don't do that to me. That's inappropriate. He was only all of 6 or 7. So he didn't know what he was doing. Heck, I did weird stuff when I was 6 or 7 years old to my dad and my brother. I didn't know. I was getting coached by an evil demon, my sister, telling me to kiss my dad in the mouth while he's high off of crack cocaine, or my brother kiss him in the mouth while he sleep. How sick is that, man? How sick is that? I followed every rule she ever wanted. So to get back to the point, my mother wasn't there. It was always my mother was at work, or when my mother wasn't there, crap went down.
Their vagina, or their penis, you let them know, this is what it is. You call it by the name. That's a form of education. It's not too much. It's just
true.
enough, but letting them know the names. And then as they get older, they'll start, asking questions or showing interest in different things. So then you kind of ease some more information in there, because especially like let's say I have girls. So I'm always, your vagina this, your vagina that, things like that. But as they get a little older, they reach maybe that 5-4 range area, or anything can happen. I had a child that walked in on a little boy using the bathroom, and she was trying to figure out why he was standing up. That was my moment. I educated on he has a penis and you have a vagina. Y'all use the bathroom differently. It's not too much information, but it's enough that they know that, okay, they have something different than me. So that's another form of education. So you just do it with the levels. All children are different maturity levels and things like that. But I definitely say by the time that they are 12, it's time to have that sex talk. That's my opinion. Everybody wouldn't agree with that, but I think by 12, it's time to have that sex talk if you haven't already. You can have it earlier. I worked in a program where they started at 10. So, and that's fine with me too, but it depends on the child and their maturity level. But you definitely want to have it earlier and not later, because kids are getting pregnant at 13. They're getting pregnant at 12. So,
and to be quite honest, y'all, I tell on myself because that shows my genuine self. It shows who I really am, that I have nothing to hide, and I'm not a liar. I'm a truth teller. But I lost, you know what, at the age of 12. It wasn't 15. I felt embarrassed to even tell her that it was 12. I got drunk in the ghetto and I did it, and I felt so ashamed. I didn't proceed to do anything else with anybody until I was 15, after my mother died. I didn't even know that my body shape was different from other ladies until I started seeing other guys treat me differently. And my sister loved it. She loved it. She loved the fact that other guys treated me different. And that's why I prefer other types of, people over I respect now, don't get me wrong, man. Don't get me wrong. I respect my black men, but I no longer want to explore relationships with them. I rather just talk to them as friends. 100% times infinity in Googleplex. I love my black men. But relationship wise, no. There are a lot of black men that like white women, and some of them like white women for the wrong reasons. My brother was with a white woman so he can beat her and say, look at what you did to us while we were slaves 300, 400, 500 years ago. Some get off on having sex with a white man's woman. But I have no intention on sitting up there chastising or doing any harm. I don't want nobody's man. Nobody's man. If it comes organic, it comes organic. I don't want anybody's man. Nobody's. I'm not interested, whether white or black, or I'll just keep those two categories.
You don't want to wait. Yep, wait.
I keep freezing. Thank you. My wife. I'm thank you.
So you don't want to wait.
Thank you. My Wi-Fi, not my Wi-Fi, my good Wi-Fi is messing up, to be honest, and I don't understand why. So thank you. Thank you. My Wi-Fi, not my Wi-Fi, my good Wi-Fi is messing up, to be honest, and I don't understand why. So let's end it with this. Where do you see thank you. Let's end it with this. Where do you see your expertise, everything that you have ever learned in life, going for the future with your business?
Right now, like I said, I'm working with mom. So mommy's expert, that's my area. I'm looking to build memberships and getting more people educated. And I want people to join and be ready to do the work to put in for their relationship and have more intimacy. In the future, I definitely actually want intimacy on planning relationship for their relationship and have more intimacy. In the future, I definitely want to do some
And definitely, we cannot now let me you.
Okay, so I have my website up. Is that yeah. Thank you.
I don't want no money from it. Like I said, I just like to suggest things. So how can the people reach you? Suggest things. So how can the people reach you? Your business.
Right now, like I said, I'm working with mom. So mommy's expert, that's my area. I'm looking to build memberships and getting more people educated. And I want people to join and be ready to do the work to put in for their relationship and have more intimacy.
So how can the people reach you? How can the people reach you? People will be, how can a
intimacy. Relationship and have more intimacy.
I just like to suggest things. So how can the people
put in for their relationship and have more intimacy?
So how can the people reach you?
Okay, so I have my website up is at ladybsexpertise.com. And then I'm on Facebook. I'm also on Instagram at Lady Beast Expertise. I'm on YouTube as well. Same thing, Lady Beast Expertise. So pretty much everything is Lady Beast Expertise.
Thank you. And stay on the line. Thank you all, and definitely have a nice day, y'all. Bye. And definitely have a nice day, y'all. Bye. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Kimberly Cloud Show. I'm your host, Kimberly Cloud. I have a very special guest here today. Can you go ahead and announce to the
stars.
I'm your host, Kimberly Cloud. I have a very special guest here today. Can you go ahead and Instagram disconnected. Boo boo. Shoot. I know what this is. Here we go. Let me delete these two. Where's she at? Okay. Okay. Let's do this stuff real quick. Finish strong. What else? DCTV. And we transfer. No DCTV from that. We transfer. Where is it at? Here we go. Why did it do that? I hate when it does that. While that's going, give me just a second. Give me a second, you guys. Okay, now it should work. Let's see. Which one is it? It's this one. Oh crap! I forgot to do Facebook. This will be in August. Individual. I should have been downloading it. Did you know we give off 100 watts of output? That's pretty cool. It's almost finished. This is the last bit I gotta do. Then I'm off of here. Something about the way you move, something about your eyes, something about tonight that makes me wanna rock it out the space with you all night. What now? Okay. It's just like that. Okay. It's downloading. I know Instagram didn't disconnect again. What is going on? Hi, Kyle. How you doing? I'm talking. I'm just busy. I'm done. But you're more than likely, you can always talk back. but I'm done with my work. So I just don't talk much. I just do. We're gonna get off of here anyway. And I have to get ready for bed. I'm not even tired. I may look tired, but I'm not. Got a long day. Okay. I'm not going to shut it. I'm just going to bring it in a room. So, y'all, it's about that time. It's been so much fun today. Today, I got to spill the beans on what's been going on in our United States. Just imagine one day you go in and you see nothing but deeply young children working around illegal immigrants who can't hold a job and just keeping that McDonald's job. So like I said, I hope that they go back to Mexico because they're causing harm on not only my life, but they're killing people. And it's sad, man. That's why things happen. But if they repeat the same pattern that they did in Santa Maria, I wouldn't even be surprised if Gavin Newsom wasn't sending them my way. And Letitia James sending them my way because they're so dumbly organized. I know a 5-year-old can see that they're watching me. I said I was going to get an extension cord at Fred Meyer. They go right down the aisle just to watch me. It's just sick, man. You're not going to take my crown. You believe you will, but I will reign in the end. You're either going to be locked up, or you're going to go back to Mexico, or you're going to get deceased. That's your life. Stop including me in your life. Go back. There's nothing for you here. There's no fast money here. Get a real job. Get a business. Find a hobby.